I am excited to announce Oculus Quest.
Our company is now Meta.
The Oculus name is coming back from the dead. Well, sorta, because Meta never fully got rid of the Oculus name. Anyway, we have a lot of VR news to cover in this video, to include really exciting news for VR games and new accessories coming to market for VR. First up is the VR games and software section. Meta shared some information during Game Developers Conference, or GDC, that took place on March 22nd. During the conference, we got some fresh insights on how the Quest Store is performing. Meta states that there are now over 500 titles in the Meta Quest Store, and if you watched Meta Connect 2022 about 5 months ago, they only had about 400 at the time. So that's around 100 more games in a span of 5 months, and that's really good in terms of production, since what a lot of people want in the VR community are more and better VR games. We recently heard that new adopters of Quest 2 are not sticking around for whatever reason, and I personally believe that this is because there just isn't as many games available compared to other platforms like Steam or PlayStation. Out of the 500 plus titles available in the Quest Store, 40 of them has accumulated over $10 million in revenue, which is around just a little bit less than 10%. That's actually not that bad of a number either, and it tells us that people are spending money on VR games. Even though a game might not produce millions in revenue, but this might be a pretty good time to start getting into VR game production for anyone good with software out there. Meta also stated that on top of the 500 plus titles in the Quest Store, there are another 150 titles in active development today under their game publisher, which was named Oculus Publishing. Meta tried their best to get rid of the Oculus name when they bought the company a few years back, but I guess the Oculus branding never went away. When I talk to people about a VR headset, no one says Meta Quest 2, but they do say and understand Oculus Quest 2 or Oculus VR headset. It is unfortunate that the name only came back for the name of the publisher, and I think the community would have enjoyed a rebrand back to Oculus for the headsets. At least I would have liked it. This again goes back to the point of new VR players not sticking around. The hardware or the headsets we currently have, as well as the ones coming out this year, are solid hardware, but the people want good software and games. It is good that 150 more games just from Oculus are coming out, but they need to be high quality games that people play and keep playing for a long time. If they can't do that, they'll continue to lose players to other gaming platforms. That was my little rant because I do want Meta to succeed, not just for Meta, but for the VR community. If they succeed, we get more games, some or most will be of good quality, and us, the VR community, will benefit from it. Shifting gears from Meta and Oculus to a game I wanted to mention from Polyarc, the game studio behind Moss and Moss Book 2, which won the Game of the Year in 2022. The Moss series is actually one of my favorite VR games, and I'm really excited to hear that they have a competitive VR multiplayer game in development. We still don't know too much about the game, and all we know is that the concept art follows a similar influence from the Moss series to include the reader and a number of mice heroes. Even though we don't know too much right now, and they just announced the game recently, but I think they're further along in the game development than what most would think. The game studio is hosting a private game test for players with a Quest 2, so if you're interested in this opportunity, I'll leave a link for you to sign up to possibly play the beta early, as well as give critical feedback to make it an amazing game for the community. If you get selected, the next playtest will happen on April 14th to 16th. Getting into the hardware side, we have HTC continuing to innovate in the VR space. HTC is the company behind their HTC Vive Pro headset that was announced earlier this year. Currently, they do have their Vive Tracker 3.0 that came out back in 2021, priced at $130, but it does require the tracking base stations that will cost you even more. Planned for a launch in Q3 of this year, they introduced the new Self-Tracking Tracker. The tracker is going to have 2 wide FOV cameras and a processor to perform inside-out tracking, very similar to the tracking system on board Quest Pro's Touch Pro controllers. Basically, without getting too complicated, this tracker doesn't need any base stations and does not have to be within the line of sight of the headset. HTC claims that it will support up to 5 trackers at once, and it'll also support OpenXR programming interface, so I believe this tracker would be compatible with Quest devices as well. I could be totally wrong about the Quest support, so if anyone is really knowledgeable in the VR AR programming scene, please let me know. We still don't know the price of these trackers, but I'm glad that there will be more and more options for body tracking to fit the unique needs of a VR gamer. I'm sure the people getting body tracking accessories will be the minority of VR gamers, but this next device will probably reach less than 1% of VR gamers. This is the Omni One VR Treadmill. This is an at-home VR locomotion device to upgrade your VR gaming experience. This treadmill was developed by funds from a crowd-based investment campaign back in 2020, and it is now shipping out to early investors. I could see people getting this maybe if it was much cheaper. I'm not saying that it's cheap or expensive for the technology you're getting, because I'm sure it is a high-tech device, right? But at the same time, regardless of the technology, if it's outside of someone's price range, it's still going to be flat out expensive. The price of the treadmill will be at $2,595 plus shipping, which also includes a Pico Neo 3 standalone headset. They also offer a payment plan to bring the payment down to $65 per month. I could see commercial cases for this device for an arcade or someplace like that, and I would love to try it out, but for now, I don't see the need for it. This treadmill would be something that's perfect for the list of games in this video, which has the best FPS games available on VR.